it's cold out today. We spent the last week with it in the 60s and 70s, and then it rained, and now we're in freezing temperatures. As you can see, I'm working today here at Coliseum. Today we have a wrestling tournament going on. It's going on today and tomorrow. After this wrestling tournament, next week we got a big basketball tournament that's going to take up like an entire week, which will be good. None of that's is the topic for today. I have put this off, I guess, 2 weeks now, and I've went back and watched it several times. Today, for this video, I am going to talk about Chris Watts and the Lifetime movie that aired 2 weeks ago. I'm going to talk about what I thought about it, and you guys can input, let me know what you thought about it as well if you got to see it. That's what we're gonna do today. I mean, well over a year later, the story is still massively popular, and I don't understand why, but it is what it is. As you can tell, a lot of people have shown up for this tournament today. This has been an all-day affair. We got here at about 6:30 a.m. We're creeping up on 12 hours that we've been here at the Coliseum already today. So, as most of you probably know already, Lifetime, the TV network, did a Lifetime movie about Chris Watts, that whole story that happened. They got a lot of points right. They also got a few things wrong. They glossed over a few things and made a couple of things that weren't necessarily that important stand out way more. Either way, today it's going to be why Chris Watts, the Lifetime movie, was actually not half bad. I'm also going to put the Lifetime movie up against the real footage because I was kind of impressed at how they recreated a lot of the shots, like body cam footage and stuff like that. I heard a lot of people say that they didn't care for the Lifetime movie that much, but those type movies they're not my cup of tea, but it actually wasn't horrible. Today I've come out to absolutely beautiful Winton Blunt Park here in Montgomery. This is the Alabama Shakespeare Festival. It's just a gorgeous backdrop for this video. They started out the Chris Watts Lifetime movie. Basically, they first opened the shot with some recreated home footage of Shanann and Bill and Cece, like the kids were out playing and stuff. And then they immediately went to Chris in the interrogation room. Basically, the movie is him in the interrogation room telling the story of what happened to FBI agents Tammy Lee and Agent Coder. Then they recreate and reenact the story that he's telling to them as to what happened.
My daddy is a hero. He helps me grow up strong. He reads me books, he ties my shoes. If you're a hero, blue and blue. Daddy, I love you!
Now, there were several things that I really didn't care for in the movie. Well, one of them, not necessarily was in the movie, but before Lifetime made the movie, and even during the airing, they never consulted the Ruseks or the Watts. Not the first time. They didn't consult either one of them. Shanann's parents even condemned it publicly I guess they were afraid at how they would portray Shanann in the movie. You know, the Watts at this point, there's not a whole lot they can do. Chris is going to have a bad name for the rest of eternity. Long after he is gotten old and passed away, he's going to have a bad name. But secondly, they put a lot of emphasis on the Thrive patches that they wore. They're in every single shot. They are talking about them constantly. The movie makes it seem as if those Thrive patches were the cause of all of it. There still could be some debate on that topic, because Chris himself admitted that him wearing the patches like he did meant he never slept. He would only get an hour or two of sleep at night, so he was up all the time, which will definitely affect your cognitive abilities. But there's no link to the Thrive patches and Chris killing Shanann, Cece, Bill, and Nico. But in the movie, it's like they wanted you to think that. They wanted you to think that those patches were the root cause of it.
Yes, it's driving. Oh, I have to show you this. Look, this is an app that keeps track of all your credit card charges in case your purse gets stolen. Or your husband buys something he shouldn't.
Now, I think my favorite parts of the movie were probably all the recreations that they did. They recreated Shanann's Facebook post.
You have to take a leap of faith in yourself, no matter what it is in life. Like, take that leap of faith and know that you can do whatever you want to do.
So, take that leap of faith in yourself and just that leap of faith, and just know.
They recreated all the body cam footage from the police officers who, you know, from the time when Nicole Atkinson called them and they arrived on scene to searching the house.
Yep, I've got to have more unless I get consent from him to go in. Could be grandparents came and picked him up.
It doesn't change anything even if they are pregnant.
No, I mean, you've got your Fourth Amendment rights to the house.
Yep.
I can't violate that.
Can't you send her?
No, I need permission from the homeowner.
Doesn't change anything that she's pregnant.
No, the grandparents could have taken her and the kids somewhere. Her phone could be dead. If I saw her laying on the ground, it'd be different, but I just can't violate the homeowner's rights.
Oh, okay.
I mean, they even recreated the Vivint doorbell camera that showed Shanann coming in that morning right before Chris killed her. Another cool feature of the Lifetime movie was that they recreated the outfits 100%. I mean, every outfit that they used in the movie is it's the exact same outfits that we saw throughout the entire case, through the body camera footage and the interrogation room footage and all. The stupid interviews that Chris gave to the media, you know, wearing that North Carolina Tar Heel shirt. I mean, every bit of it was 100% recreated. Even like Tammy Lee, FBI agent Tammy Lee's, like her sweater and all that she had on the day that she gave Chris his polygraph test and all. They recreated all of it, even down to those extra characters. I thought that was very impressive that somebody took the time to mimic every piece of clothing from the entire story. The movie, I mean, pretty much put down the details just like they happened. They talked about the gift cards that Chris used to pay for his and Nikki's dinners. They showcased the first time Chris and Nikki met there in the offices, and basically everything that we all know from the places they went, where they went camping and they went to the sand dunes. All of that stuff was recreated in the movie, which was pretty decent. And I will say this, I thought that the movie portrayed all three characters the best they could. I know that Shanann's family condoned the movie because they were afraid of how Shanann was going to be portrayed, but I thought that she was portrayed just fine. I thought that they portrayed her as the hopeful mom and wife who was struggling to keep her family together and caring for her children at the same time, as it appears to be in real life. I thought, even when it comes to Nicole Kessinger, say what you want, and speculate what you want, but the official story is that Nicole Kessinger was not involved, and that I know a lot of people don't believe that, but that is the official story. And the movie portrayed just that, as if Nicole Kessinger was just the unaware mistress who thought that he was separated, and all of that was portrayed as the official story is. And they portrayed Chris just like the monster that he is, you know, killing his wife and his girls. You know, of course, there are several areas that they had to guess on, like the actual him strangling Shanann, because Chris's story don't really pick. He says he climbed on top of her for some reason and was sitting on top of her when he strangled her, and they kind of make it appear as if that comes together. But all in all, I thought that they portrayed all of the characters exactly as the official story is. I thought that coming out of it, really, Chris was the only one who had a bad look. They get through the story, and like I said earlier, basically this is Chris telling the story to the investigators of what happened. And you know, at first he says that Shanann killed the girls, and then he killed Shanann, and then they put that in there.
I went downstairs and I heard she freaked out, and then I go upstairs and she's choking. Yeah, they were blue. I freak out, and I do the same thing. And I do the same thing.
Well, then once they catch up to the present time where Chris is sitting there in that interrogation room, they gloss over the murder right away and move into the body cam footage where they're at the house and they're searching for any clue, and Chris finds her cell phone in the ring, and then it starts kind of telling the story of what happened. He ultimately confesses to their murders and gets sentenced to those 5 life sentences and sent to jail. And then of course they separate it by a commercial break, but then it comes back, and then we're back in February. We're in February now, where they go to the jail there in Wisconsin to sit down with him, and it's almost like he's telling them the story again, but they start off with Shanann coming home and him killing her, strangling her, and then him trying to carry the body down, and Bella coming out to find them. As he starts telling the story from the prison, that's where they show you him killing her and the events that took place. Of course, this is the very end of the movie, him driving out to the Survey 319 oil battery and telling what he did to Cece and Bella. And then they pretty much just show him getting up, the prison guard putting the handcuffs on him and carrying him off. And it has a little scene where Tammy says there was
No defensive wounds. Shanann didn't struggle. She didn't fight him. The entire time, she thought he was going to let go, right up till the very end.
Then it just cuts to black and says Chris Watts is serving 5 life sentences, blah, blah, blah. I thought they did a really good job picking the actors for this. I mean, they looked incredibly close to their counterpart, but ultimately I didn't think that I was going to care for the movie too much. And if it was any other topic, it's probably not a movie that I would watch. In fact, I doubt that I'll ever watch it again, but because it was this topic, of course, I was invested in it, and surprisingly, I thought they did a pretty good job. Again, I've pointed out a few inconsistencies that I didn't care for in the movie, but ultimately they hit on most all of the points throughout, the important ones anyways, and they didn't make anything crazy up or throw in anything crazy to change and to change anything or blow anything up, which was good. I know Lifetime is known for doing that. So ultimately, I mean, it was fairly decent. Yeah, but if you saw the Lifetime movie, tell me what you think. Am I the only one who thought it wasn't that bad, or is there other people out there who thought it was okay as well? Well, pretty much that is going to do it for this video. You guys just kept asking what I thought about the movie, so I thought I would make this video to tell you, and I wanted to put those shots side by side so you could kind of see how well they did remaking them. I am fixing to head into Planet Fitness so I can work out. So I want to thank you all so much for watching. I really appreciate it. You just don't know how much. I will see you again tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night. It's warming back up here. Again, it got cold for a couple of days. It was actually colder earlier today than it is now. It's warmed up quite a bit. So I'll be glad when we don't have any more cold weather and it gets back to hot again. I'd much rather be hot and sweaty than cold and freezing. Thank you all. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a great night and stay warm.